Okay, there is breaking news, people. I did have dinner with my brother, and he gave me a lot of very big insight oh, into what are we going to be doing, how is the trail, how should we prepare for the trail, what should we be buying leading up to the trail, and I am here with the breaking news of what all has been learned. So here we go. The first thing is a bunch of websites have labeled this as somewhere from above medium to a hard challenge, meaning that it is totally doable for people that are athletic. And I think we know that 3 out of the 4 of us are not athletic people, right? Hard does not mean impossible, doesn't mean it's not doable, but there should be some sort of practice for those that are not athletic. So for the people that live in this area, which are the 3 unathletic people, he has recommended San Velasco Nature Park, which has many miles. I don't know, but there's miles of pathway for trekking through trees and all that. It will have nothing to do with altitude, obviously, but that's nothing you can really get. Even the top of the Colorado Rockies does not compare to what Mount Fuji would provide. So there's nowhere in the U.S. that we could train. But at least, he said, practicing being outdoors, drinking water, moving in the chutes, breaking in the shoes, and just long treks of walking. That will be at least some sufficient practice for climbing the mountain. So that's the first tip. The second tip is he recommended to get what is called a hood shirt. So, right, one of the big things here is we don't want to have too much in the backpack, but we want to be covered and surrounded from the sun in very efficient ways. So he recommended this hood shirt, which would be the first layer of clothing that we should be wearing, or at least for me, as somebody who's extremely light-skinned, that I should be definitely wearing this because as long as it has a UPF rating, which means something that I don't remember, that will be thick enough of threads that will block the UV lights. Also, some of these can help with sweating, so they'll be pretty dry, so they'll dry pretty fast. You won't be sitting there, caked up in your sweat. I sweat a lot, so something like this would help me a lot. But this would be a first layer. One of his big recommendations was you don't want to have, clothes that you're swapping out to put on new clothes because then your backpack gets too full and that's going to weigh. So you want to wear everything that you're ever going to wear, which leads into the second thing, the rain jacket. The rain jacket would act as a second layer of thickness, something to help you when you get into the wintry parts, right? So this first thing is a long sleeve shirt. So you can roll it up in the beginning if you want to, or you can keep it down to keep the sun off you. But that's going to be a layer on your upper body. And the second layer can be this rain jacket, which will help with rain if there is any, and wind. Wind is very, not oppressed, or it is oppressed by the rain jacket. So I know somebody already mentioned that, but just to confirm, he also agreed with that logic. So that's the upper body taken care of, right? So essentially we have a hoodie and a second hoodie that we can put on. Obviously you won't want the rain jacket without the hood, you'll want one with one. As for hiking pants, he said, you know what? Why not get some? You're going to need something to cover your legs anyway. Maybe you don't need too much to cover your legs, but you will want something when it gets cold, right? And if there are any winds, just have, some pair of pants. You don't want to wear khakis or something because those, might be a little too tight. They'll be a little heavy or something. So, you know what? Screw it. Just get a pair of, hiking pants. Okay. To work with the hiking pants, you should get some sort of, compression shorts. Because apparently, he said, I should just get compression shorts for the whole trip. With so much walking, why even risk getting, chafed legs or swamp ass? I mean, you'll probably still get it, but just get some compression shorts. Why not? So much walking, Why not? It's just decent. So get some compression shorts to go with the hiking pants, because those can go under. Or if you want, instead of having the hiking pants around, you can swap pants theoretically with what are called long underwear. And no, I don't know why that second picture looks so odd, but apparently long underwear are very hot. So you would not wear these with the hiking pants, but you would have them in your backpack. They're very lightweight, but they're like leggings. So when you put the long underwear on, when you get to the top, station when we're gonna sleep, you put this on, and you put the hiking pants on, and again you have 2 layers of long covering on your body. So that'll help with it being cold, right? You want to get like a decent sleep if you can. You also just want to keep your body insulated. You got to stay healthy. So why not get double long pants essentially? That wasn't, he didn't necessarily say we had to get these, but a good suggestion. As for the backpack, right? How are we going to fit everything? What's going to work? A backpack. I don't want to wear a backpack. How are we going to do it all? Well, he recommended a day pack is what apparently the official name is. Some of these day packs weigh like half a pound and they squish into nothing, or some of them are more formally fitted. But what he recommended, and he might send me the brand or something, I don't know, is that he has a day pack that he really enjoys that has something like this. I don't know if it's this brand or not, but something like this, which creates a gap between the backpack and your back, so that the entire time you're walking, your back will evaporate the air. It won't just sit on your back and stick you to your backpack. I don't know if this helps with posture, I'm not sure. But this will just make it so that you're still feeling airy. You're breathing out, right? You got your, what is this called? You got your, I don't, where's the name? You got your long sleeve hoodie, whatever it's called. What is the name? Yeah, a long sleeve sun hood. You're wearing that. You're getting aired out. You got your backpack with your airing out, and it's just like the sweat isn't a problem. You're just feeling decent. It's a long trek. We might be getting beaten down by the sun. Remember, we're on the other side of where the sun rises, aka when we go up the mountain, we are on the side where the sun sets. It will be beating down on us. And then as we go down the mountain, it will be beating on us. Okay? Keep that in mind. You might want to look into something like this. It could be the best next invention. Who knows? Okay, let's keep it running with the news segment. Polarized sunglasses. Not sure what these do, but maybe they're better than normal sunglasses. Maybe take a look. These ones are pretty pricey because they're Ray-Bans, but he said you could just get some from a random, not Walmart, but some random store, and if they're polarized, they're good to go. They can be super cheap. Ray-Bans are very much name recognition, so you don't gotta get those necessarily. The next thing, his idea out of nowhere, he said you should get wool socks. Those are gonna be really good for keeping your feet warm. So we have our legs warm and secured, but what about the feet? Wool socks apparently are very popular when it comes to hiking. He recommended this Darn Tough group, but specifically for me, he said, you got sensitive skin, maybe you shouldn't wear wool. Apparently, it can be bad because it's natural fibers, and it might mess with people's skin. So he said, maybe don't get these, instead get some synthetic. So I might be looking for some synthetic socks, I'm not sure. To me, they just look like dress socks, but who am I to judge? He said that my current socks, okay, let's just lower this. I showed him my current socks, which are very nice and thick. I wear them because I think my blood circulation might not be the best. He said cotton, you don't want it. You want something that's going to keep it nice and warm. So synthetic maybe for me. Some stuff he recommended where he said the what's the ERI store? REI. He said REI, whatever is there is going to be, good quality. You're only buying like one thing, so just make it good. He also recommended Lloyd Clark, which, if you don't know, is, I believe, on 13th and 16th. He said they got a lot of good stuff there. He was recommending those two shops. We talked about the compression shorts. Swapped out maybe for the long underwear. And last but not least, we have the headlamp. I asked him about the shoe lights, and he said, fuck that. That's not good. Because it's going to be just shining right in front of you, and it's going to annoy everybody. But the headlights, he said, is legit. It is apparently supposed to shine in front of you intentionally to show you where you're going to be walking soon. Not necessarily stare down at the ground and show your next step. Although maybe they have some sort of swivel action. But here he said any Walmart headlamp should do fine, and that wouldn't be a problem. I'm not sure about this $2 one, but hey, maybe it's good enough. So that's it for the news today. Hope you enjoyed. But I just want to, keep in mind, he said that we should train for this. I'm not making that up. He is an outdoorsy kind of guy himself, and he said, it's 3 miles up or whatever it is, and that's kind of a long distance. Obviously you don't start at the bottom, but you gotta practice in some ways. He said maybe I should get some climbing boots. Apparently climbing boots are much sturdier than climbing shoes in the way that the top and the front are very sturdy, so that if anything were to hit the shoe, you wouldn't have a problem, right? Like you could just bang your shoe against a wall and you don't feel it. I'm not sure that we'll need that for this trip. It adds a little bit of a weight to the walk, but they're very sturdy. But again, it seems like there won't be that much stuff hitting our shoes, so maybe we don't need to worry about that. Maybe just the climbing shoes. I showed him the Asics Trail Scout 2 that I was thinking about buying, and he was like, "Yeah, that's totally fine." So I may go try to find those at REI. I think they might have it, or they might have one that's similar in the same brand. But yeah, so I think a lot of good information here. Hope you liked it. If you have any other questions, I can ask him. I think the biggest thing, he was pretty taken aback by the fact that maybe I wouldn't practice enough. When I was told him, I was like, oh yeah, I might do some stuff here and there to get ready. He's like, oh, you gotta start getting ready. Going at least once a week to this place to start practicing your hiking. I was like, whoa, what do you mean at least once a week? He's like, yeah, you got to get used to just walking a lot in rough environments, because it's not just, oh, I'm walking around UF. This is like a hill, and you got to go up and down hills. You got to get used to well, he didn't say any of that, but you got to get used to bobbing and weaving left and right up and down hills. So again, he was kind of taken aback by the difficulty of it. He's like, this is going to be a bit challenging. You got to prepare yourself. So I might once a week or so try to just what he recommended really was I go to San Falasco and I go kind of far out and I come back. Next week I go farther and I come back. And you just keep continuing that, and that should be an okay, regime kind of happening. That I should do more, but that, once a week for 3 months is apparently an okay amount. Also, to break in the shoes, to break in anything else that apparently needs to get situated a little bit with my body. Make sure all the material works. It doesn't randomly, have defects, because then you'll want to return it, get some stuff that actually works. Yeah, I mean, pretty interesting. So, hope you learned something. That is the news, and the news is out.